UFOs crash in China and villagers shocked by a huge ball of fire. This is from the Huffington Post, Lee Spiegel.
So it turns out that if aliens ever show up here on Earth, little green men might be the least of our problems. A new study indicates that instead, they'll probably be more like super intelligent dinosaurs, as smart and as cunning as humans. As one scientist put it, we would be better off not meeting them. Sleep tight.
The Sumerian clay tablets describe the AnuNnaki aliens genetically manipulating mankind and creating a hybrid race of alien reptilian humans who became known as the Nephilim. The Nephilim are also known as the Elohim in the Bible. This was a genetically created race of rulers which had their human DNA mixed with that of the invading AnuNnaki aliens. References to this race of alien hybrid rulers can be found in ancient texts from around the planet. The Sumerian Empire was the place where Zoroastrian, Hindu, and Judaic religions all began. The hybrid alien-human rulers became known as the Zazumi, Rephaim, and the AnuNnaki, the alien gods who had invaded from the stars. The Sumerian Empire was formed more than 6,000 years ago, stretching from the Indus Valley region in Pakistan to the capital called Uruk. Sumeria is known as the cradle of civilization. It was here that white-skinned peoples from the Caucasus Mountains spread a worldwide cult of blood ritual and magic to the rest of the world. The Kabbalah is a collection of texts which are forbidden to be studied before the age of 40. Kabbalistic texts describe the spirit world as the Yen Welt. The Kabbalah teaches that there are different, invisible, parallel universes which intersect our own reality. Indeed, it is the astral world where the two strange worlds of human spirituality and the spirits of extraterrestrials meet. Buddhists teach reincarnation, and that means that some of us may very well be incarnated not only into just another physical body, but a body which lives on another planet. Cuneiform tablets and cylinder seals made in ancient Iraq, the former kingdom of Babylon, tell the story of two extraterrestrial star gods coming to Earth and genetically manipulating mankind. These alien star gods were called Enlil and Enki. Their alien race was called the AnuNnaki, which roughly translated means princes of the royal genetic seed. Worship of these alien beings takes many forms, and the royal political elite have built special temples and lodges all over planet Earth, where ceremonies are performed to invoke the spirit of the AnuNnaki and other extraterrestrials. On every continent of planet Earth, there are giant temples which are aligned to the stars and planets. These temples are actually astronomical calculators, space observatories, and more importantly, they are places devoted to magical ritual. Massive stone temple complexes all over the world, from Cambodia to Mexico, were built for the same reason. These temples were used to summon spirits. The pyramids of Giza are actually astronomical computers, which are no less sophisticated for their time than our computers are for our age. These temples exactly gauge the precise movements of planets, stars, and constellations, so that elaborate magical rituals can be performed at specific times.
The Dropa stones, 12,000 years old. They date to the age of Atlantis, the advanced society of Atlantis. But more claims of people traveling in spaceships. The spiral groove, it turns out, is actually composed of tiny hieroglyphs that tell the incredible story of spaceships from some distant world that crash landed in the mountains. The ships were piloted by people who called themselves the Dropa. The architectic Antikythera mechanism. Perplexing artifact was recovered by sponge divers from a shipwreck in 1900 off the coast of Antikythera, a small island that lies northwest of Crete. The divers brought up from the wreck a great many marble and bronze statues that had apparently been the ship's cargo. Among the findings was a hunk of corroded bronze that contained some kind of mechanism composed of many gears and wheels. Writings on the case indicated that it was made in 80 BC, and many experts at first thought it was an astrolabe, an astronomer's tool. An X-ray of the mechanism, however, revealed it to be far more complex, containing a sophisticated system of differential gears. Gearing of this complexity was not known to exist until 1575, so it's more than 1600 years away from when this thing was made. It is still unknown who constructed this amazing instrument 2,000 years ago or how the technology was lost. The Baghdad Battery. While mineral hunting in the mountains of California near Olanka during the winter of 1961, Wallace Lane, Virginia Maxey, and Mike Mixel found a rock, among many others, that they thought was a good addition for their gem shop. Upon cutting it open, however, Mixel found an object inside that seemed to be made of white porcelain. In the center was a shaft of shiny metal. Experts estimated that it should have taken about 500,000 years for this fossil-encrusted nodule to form, yet the object inside was obviously of sophisticated human manufacture. Further investigation revealed that the porcelain was surrounded by a hexagonal casing, and an X-ray revealed a tiny spring at one end. Some who have examined the evidence say it looks very much like a modern-day spark plug. How did it get inside a 5,000-year-old rock? Or 500,000-year-old rock. 500,000-year-old rock with a spark plug inside it. That's what I was looking for. Ancient model aircraft. This fossil-encrusted nodule. Ooh, it was encrusted with fossils. But if it was encrusted in fossils, yeah, there was like bacteria and insects or whatever was fossil encrusted on this nodule. Yeah, that seems a lot less likely. Oh yeah, this one is. Fossil of a human handprint, for example, was found in limestone, estimated to be 110 million years old. Fossilized human finger found in the Canadian Arctic also dates back to 100 to 110 million years ago. Yeah, they say humanity is only about 1 million years old. Place metal objects. 65 million year old metal object. Never mind who could work metal, so then how does science explain semi-ovid metallic tubes dug out of 65 million year old Cretaceous chalk in France? I don't know. Or maybe there was really people here 65 million years ago with semi-ovid metallic tubes.
I mean, most of all of my family members do not believe that 9/11 was an inside job. They do not believe it. And they are intelligent, highly educated. We're talking about medical doctor, doctorates in mathematics, physics, all kinds of people that are, that have intelligent, high-end degrees. Unlike me, I'm just a regular guy. Never got all that. But they can't believe it. Even before I believed in 9/11 as being an inside job, I suspected strongly that the UFO cover-up had to be non-human run because of the simple fact that humans eventually would not keep from other humans the most important, interesting information we could possibly learn, which is that we are not alone in the universe. Far from it. Turns out the universe is quite big, as we know, unless all of astronomy is a lie, and I don't think it is, but that space is filled with all kinds of sentient life. And by sentient I mean intelligent, high-tech wielding. and that most other planets have aliens coming and going, sharing technology, sharing resources, and yes, sometimes fighting and having wars. But our planet, Earth, apparently is remote enough that the creatures that are here, who are the ruling faction, I believe, are a hybrid reptilian humans that are the rulers of Earth, the blue bloods, as some people call them. Apparently, these blue bloods are very talented because of the mix of the two races, the human and the reptilian, and they shapeshift between the two forms, and they have to consume blood in order to maintain their human form. The news won't report it. They'll report little tidbits to kind of make you think that they're not, against it, but really they don't really get into it. They don't really, take a bold step talking about aliens. I think because the ruling faction, the reptilian hybrids that need humans to eat, and others that feed off of humans and or use humans in other ways, they don't want their resource to be ruined by other extraterrestrials coming in and telling us that we're being used. So that's why they keep them all away. And there's footage of them shooting at incoming extraterrestrial craft to keep them away. And you see the extraterrestrial craft make a turn away as this one ship that's from the Earth fires something at it, and you see it turning away. And the big thing that clued me into this was the Aztec crash, which was very similar to the Roswell crash. It happened 1 year earlier in Aztec, New Mexico, or Arizona, Aztec, Arizona. And what somebody said in that documentary that I saw and the books that were written about it was that they suspected that the Americans shot them down. And when I heard that, it made sense that they shot down that one and they shot down the one in Roswell. Why? To keep them from meeting people here on Earth and telling them that they are not alone in the universe and that they could have pollution-free energy and all this other stuff that would make our world so much better, because the reptilian ruling faction can't have regular humans getting their hands on anti-grav and time travel or whatever technology or whatever free energy technology, because if enough people perhaps experimenting with that, and they would eventually uncover their whole existence and what's really going on and be able to stop their ironclad rule over the Earth. So they've done a very good job of suppressing this whole thing from humans finding out about it. And if anybody does find out about it or have contact, they have psychics. They probably have rooms and rooms full of all these psychics and people that they probably abduct and force them to be psychics, and find anybody who they detect mind has had real contact with extraterrestrials and or have technology or something that could wake the general public up and prove the whole thing and blow the whole thing wide open, and they immediately attack those people and get them under control. So they're keeping a lid on the Earth and humans from finding out. Meanwhile, in their multi-pronged approach, which I think David Icke does a good job of explaining, they're bombarding us with hypnosis through entertainment, distracting us by making living. There's no matter how hard you try, you either have to scrape and scrape and scrape. The only way you're going to be rich and relaxed is if you're a confirmed wicked sellout, in my opinion, because there's no way you can be rich. They'll allow you to have a lot of money and be big in business unless they somehow have some way of knowing that your mindset isn't going to pop open and turn on them. They have a way of detecting someone whose heart might be open to realizing the truth. And I think that's really an important point. It's, you could have the highest IQ, the most competent business demeanor, but I think it does actually boil down to your heart. What are you going to put up with? What evil are you going to withstand or
UFOs crash in China and villagers shocked by a huge ball of fire. This is from the Huffington Post, Lee Spiegel.
So it turns out that if aliens ever show up here on Earth, little green men might be the least of our problems. A new study indicates that instead, they'll probably be more like super intelligent dinosaurs, as smart and as cunning as humans. As one scientist put it, we would be better off not meeting them. Sleep tight.